Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to draw and shade realistic smooth skin tones. So if you are new to this channel, welcome to Art Community, and all that we do here is realistic art tutorials, tips and tricks. Alright, so before I move on to the tutorial, I first want to mention the tools and materials that I'm going to use in this particular video. So with the tools I'm going to use, I'll be using the Derwent graphic pencil and the general charcoal pencil. Okay, and when it comes to the erasers, I'm going to use the electric eraser, the Tombow Mono Zero eraser and the Kneadable Eraser. And I'm going to use a tissue and a couple of brushes to blend my shadings. And when it comes to the paper, I'm using the Chromocoat Paper, which is the normal paper that I've been using in most of my drawings. So these are the tools that I'm going to use in this particular video or tutorial. And in case you don't have any particular or specific brand that I mentioned, don't worry, use what you have and you are going to be fine. Okay, so now let's jump into the tutorial. And before I start any portrait drawing, I usually use the grid method to get an accurate outline of my reference photo. So in case you haven't heard or you don't know about the grid method drawing technique, I have already done a video on that, and I'm going to leave a link down in the description so you can check out how to use the grid method to get an accurate outline. So before I start shading any realistic portrait, I usually study my reference really well to understand the values I have to shade. Okay, so I'm talking about the dark shadows, the middle tones and my highlights. So these are the three basic values that I focus on whenever I'm about to begin shading. The reason why I do this is because I'm going to use the graphite pencil and the charcoal pencil combined. So I try to study my reference to get to know where I'm going to place my graphite and my charcoal. Okay, so so that when I start I don't find myself wanting. Okay, so I usually start from the eyes and I begin with a lighter grade of pencil. The reason why I start with a lighter grade of pencil is because I want to build up tones and layers. Okay, I basically draw in layers. Okay, so even when the area is dark, I try to start from a lighter grade of pencil, which gives me more room and flexibility to build up layers. So I start to shade using techniques like the hatching, the cross hatching and the circularism. So it takes a long time, okay, and it takes patience. So you have to be patient with trying to achieve smooth realistic tones, because when shading you need to shade the skin tones or like the pencil strokes close to each other. Okay, then I begin blending with the tissue. Okay, and the most important thing when trying to shade a smooth realistic skin tone is the pencil pressure. Okay, the pencil pressure is really important in this area. Okay, because you have to control the pressure really well so that you don't get too dark or too light. Okay, you need to have control over the pressure of the pencil. Okay, so you start small and then you build up tones bit by bit. If you are new, it's going to be really difficult because probably you are not used to the kind of the pencil pressure that you need to have, the right pencil pressure that you need to have or use when starting. Okay, so what I will say here is that do or try to create lighter tones, having in mind that you are going to build up layers. Okay, so it's going to take a longer period, but the goal here is to achieve a smooth or a gradual gradation of your strokes. Okay, so another tip I want to talk about is that it's advisable to shade from your shadows into your lighter areas. Okay, the reason behind this is that it gives you the freedom to blend your dark shadows or your shadows into your lighter areas. Okay, so I usually start with a lighter grade and I build up from my shadows into my lighter areas, and once the strokes are done, I begin blending with the tissue. Okay, and I don't really press too hard. I usually put a lighter weight, trying to achieve a gradual shading or a gradual gradation of my skin tones. So this is the basic idea or what goes through my mind when I'm trying to create a realistic skin tones. So a good starting point can be using an HB. Okay, you can start shading with an HB, and you need to do a little bit more practice. Okay, and with time you are going to get used to how to get or how to control your pencil pressure. This is really important because this is the whole or the main thing behind achieving a smooth realistic skin tone. Okay, so you need to be patient and try to create the pencil strokes close to each other enough so that when it gets to the blending point, which you are going to use the tissue for, that it becomes easier. Okay, and also when blending with the tissue, you don't need to really press hard. You need to start with a lighter pressure and increase as you progress. Okay, so from there I begin using my brushes to also blend my skin tones, and I try to use the charcoal powder and graphite powder as well. Okay, it also helps to achieve a smoother skin tones, and in case you don't have the graphite and the charcoal powder, you can get them from using your normal pencils and a sandpaper. Okay, to also get the charcoal powder and the graphite powder. Okay, so you don't have to go and buy an expensive graphite already made graphite powder or charcoal powder. You can make them yourself. Okay, and from there I begin using my erasers, where I start to use the Kneadable Eraser to pull up highlights. What the Kneadable Eraser helps you to do best is that it tries to remove or get highlight, okay, which or get a brighter area which is not too bright. Okay, so it kind of creates based on how you press or use it, it gives you control over how high or how bright you want the area. Okay, and then I also use the Tombow Mono Zero eraser to get fine highlight and fine small lighter areas. Okay, and then for very high or bright areas, that is where the electric eraser comes in. Okay, so the electric eraser does really well when it comes to bright areas. Okay, so these are the reasons why I have these 3 types of erasers. Okay, and yes, so the process is really kind of a back and forth kind of thing. Okay, this is how I basically shade my realistic smooth skin tones. So the process is just a repetition of what I've talked about already. So and with time I believe we are going to get to a point where we are going to see improvements. Alright, so I believe this video has given you some tips on how to start shading a smooth realistic skin tones. So if you enjoy watching this video, kindly hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more art tutorials like this. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys hopefully in the next one.